wow, I'll tell you, I've been seeing a lot of reports and stuff about people, I don't know, something happening to them or something because they were trying to or did ruin my reputation. But then I saw one which was real weird because it started out with the wrong picture. However, because it started out with a priest, what would look to be Black Jesus maybe, but it was supposed to be the priest. And I'm thinking, well, you do know that that's what they had been doing, was trying to pass themselves off as some person of God. And they were talking about how they were a master manipulator. And I thought, well, then they're not the priest. They can't be the priest because he's not a manipulator like that. Oh, he may manipulate you towards making the right choices to be with God and that kind of thing. That's what priests do, you know. At least that's what they're supposed to do, I believe. Anyway, they were talking about how people are finding them out for the stuff that they do, like they get in between people in their relationships, and they break up relationships and families and organizations. And I'm thinking, well, that's probably maybe something I might do if they're trying to trap me in their family or their organization, if they decided to keep me down and enslave me and keep me under them just simply because they want my energies and my blessings. Then in that moment, I might be guilty of these things. But what struck home was the saying about, oh, when they take people from, other people or something like that, like they're breaking up relationships. And it makes them feel attractive. And it sounded like, and they said basically what they're looking for is love. But it doesn't work out because whenever they get with those people, then something happens and the person doesn't want to be with them. And they said it was something about a Saturn thing or something like that. And I kept on thinking, well, maybe they're just trying to, say it's me. Because I heard recently that a lot of people, are attracted to the light. And they like me and see that I'm not a mean person. I'm not scheming and scamming and trying to, finagle people out of things and steal stuff from people and all that stuff. And whereas I'm just trying to get free of the mean people and darkness, and so my light's more pure and brighter, and they're not taking anything. In other words, so I'm not feeding anything of the evil crowd. Not that I hate them or anything. And if they were redeemable in some way, I guess maybe we could work something out. But just to keep on feeding people they're going to take it and go do evil with, I can't do that. But yeah, that's the thing. That they did clarify it, though, because they said that they'll get with your person or somebody else's person, and because they'll see in that person like traditionalism and loving nature and that type of thing. And they'll do that by insinuating themselves into the situation and spending as much time as they possibly can around your person, they said. And that's how they get into their energies and work their way in. And, and we all do know that that's what those folks do, is they weave themselves in and quite actually will try to get in your energies and insinuate themselves into what you are and what you have. And I've seen some really spooky things from those people. It's because they're magic. Excuse me. I remember that one lady I used to watch before she actually started using cards and stuff. She was so happy about going to magic school. And all I could think is, no, you don't know what you're getting into. Sure enough, after that, I know that they had lost something. And that the witch had taken it for themselves and was using that to try and change themselves and become something more attractive. In other words, have more of what it is that perhaps we might be interested in. I don't know, a sense of love or something. I don't know, but they were different in as much as what they were wearing made them different. The thing that they were saying about how, they were looking for love. And of course, if you can't get with Christ and you can't get the light directly, then yeah, having somebody to love you would behoove you, because love does cover much. It's true. Of course, you'd have to have somebody that actually probably had some love in them so that they could love you and all that. But um, I was concerned that they were trying to accuse me and make me the master manipulator. Because at one point they were saying, people are seeing that they're not as innocent as they pretend to be. And I'm thinking, well, I never said I was really innocent either, but I'm a nice guy. And if I can help somebody and it not hurt me, you see what I'm saying? Then that's, why not, right? But then that's because I'm from the day. I don't really fit into a world where it's dog eat dog and people smile at you only because they're looking for somebody who's stupid enough to believe that they might be a nice person that they could spend any time with or be with in any way, you know? Again and again, 1,000 times over, I probably have heard the phrase, they mistook your kindness for weakness. Which means that I was speaking with a predator or interacting with a predator of some sort that is eyeing others, looking for weakness in them so that they can do what? Right, take advantage of them. Like they're not even human. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, that's why we've been trying to say goodbye to this for I don't know how many years. About 17 years now, I guess. Going on maybe 18. I'm not exactly sure exactly, but back in 2010 or something like that. Pretty sure. But, and look, the thing of it is about like stealing other people's mates or something from them. Hey guys, listen, I'm not the great uniter. Obviously I can't be, because trying to indulge them of the darkness has been extremely harmful. And I've been miserable for a long time because of it. And I didn't get anything out of it except pain, misery, suffering, loss, confusion. And I didn't get what I needed even. So, you know, again, it's not anything personal. It's just that for whatever reason, perhaps it was Darth Vader manipulating them in the wrong ways. And them listening to them and following after that, that completely made it impossible. You know, and I guess Vader probably got what he really wanted, was just to see us, you know, harmed as greatly as we were. If people are attracted to this light that we carry, I can't really do anything about that other than say, hey, you know, the reason why you like me and you feel good about me and you like being within distance of me and my energy and stuff, it's him, you know. Now, I'm sure one of the things that I started getting a long, long time ago was, yeah, you were supposed to raise up and you were supposed to be famous for something. And lots of people see you so that they go, wow, he's great, like so many other people did in my life. And I didn't know why, okay? Now, see, I have what it is. I have the understanding. It's not me. It's the light. I don't have to, you know, think of myself as something big and or super or real talented or extra special or anything at all. I don't, it's whenever people look at me and they're loving me and they're liking me and all this and they say the others are real jealous about that because I don't have to try. Well, it's because it's not me. It's just part of me. I'm of the light. So that's what that is. It's, you know, I think if CJ was talking about the other day about how other people have to, you know, tap dance and turn cartwheels to get the kind of attention I get. Well, again, I guess the attention is good for you, and maybe that's why they want it. So, but we're not equal. None of us are equal. I think it was Darth Vader that told me, you know, it was, you know, what they wrote it in the Constitution, isn't it? That assuming basically that all men are created equal, and he emphasized created. In other words, you start out equally as, you know, and then after that, well, golly, I can tell you there's no equality. That's one of the biggest lies of Satan, is this whole equality thing. And he has perpetrated it mostly upon our Negro community. I don't like to call them black because the real people are black, are the black souls doing magic. And then, of course, he's turned it into some type of religion, that DEI stuff, which nobody really buys. As everybody knows, that's a bunch of horse crap, and it leads people, even though they might get short-term gains, to long-term losses. That's another game of the devil. Ooh, doesn't this look great and attractive? Go for this. Uh-oh, what's the unforeseen consequences? That's another phrase from Darth Vader. What I found out about Darth Vader is I don't want to have anything to do with him, not ever again. Not him or any of his progeny or anything that he claims is a project of his, such as the witch. If there was any of me there, boy, that certainly did get contaminated and ruined, didn't it? This is like, wow, they turned you into the opposite. Well, anyway, whatever they are, they turned them into the opposite of what they needed to be. That's what I can see. In other words, they took them the way I would not have had them go. But whatever influence they were under at the time, way back then, precluded them from being able to accept any good advice from me. Again, guys, we're not trying to steal anybody's mates. But I suppose once we get up there on the stage and we're doing whatever we do, and people are going, wow, they got the light. You know, like the Eddie Murphy character in the one where he goes to help the people by going on the shopping network or something, and everybody's wanting to buy stuff because it's him. Because they can see or they can feel the light within him. I should imagine that many, many people who are spiritually linked with others would prefer to leave them and come and be a part of me and my team. And that's not because we're not, you know, like we're some kind of really handsome dude or anything like that, or even that we might have lots of money in the bank, which I'm sure we will, but it'll be that we'll have the right stuff again, all the right stuff, and that we're going back home, because that's what we're doing. We're rising. It's one of the things that we do. It's part of our nature, and especially after having dived so deep and for so long and tried so long to reason with people who wouldn't even talk to me, who wouldn't come to me and talk to me about anything. And after you've been in it for so long, you've suffered for so long, you finally say, well, we just got to keep going up. No matter what, we have to keep going up. It doesn't matter if we loved any of them. It doesn't matter if any of them loved us, because we're not in the right place. We're not getting what we really need. We need to go up. So again, we don't mean to cause anybody any trouble. We most certainly don't mean to do that. And hopefully we will get a helper and someday be able to eat a cheeseburger and fries or something like that again, because it's one of the few pleasures or joys I have in life. And I didn't hardly eat for many years. But anyway, we're just going to keep going up. And all I can tell you is pray. I saw a young lady who I took an interest in for some reason. I saw something there many, many years ago. And the one thing I did say was, don't do the same to her as they do to everybody else that I take an interest in, and rush in and say, oh, well, now you have to do this and be that and pump up your show like this and change who you are and be like all the rest of them. Because that's not right. And she didn't. I'm real happy about that. She still, you know, what I saw there was a real woman, a girl, something that was a real woman, one that had the tender feelings and the good feelings about what can be, and in other words, sort of a Dolores, perhaps, you know, one who chooses to see the beauty in the world. And I laughed whenever I saw that, because I knew it was, you know, a sunshine character, and I thought, man, wouldn't it be nice to be that person that you could just, you know, be that contented and everything. And I am to a certain degree, except now I know so much of what's so very ugly and so unfortunate and sad, and I never knew there was an underworld. I just thought all this stuff was fiction, you know. I sure hope I do get up to a place where I am really good and safe from all of those, and that I have everything I need, and be able to make those ways for those that can come up. And that's, again, talking about stealing people from other people. Not so much that we want to steal anybody, but we certainly would like to make a way for any of those that are sincere and have the ability to be redeemed, have the ability to turn away from all the other stuff and come back to light and come back to being day. It would, it really would be, I guess, the best ending for me. And I don't know what it was that my dream was. We were always just trying to have a life and be nice and have nice people around us, and enjoy some good times with some people. That's what we were trying to do, just have a life. But these others, like I said, whenever they were talking about people that purposefully break up relationships, I have experienced that. Darth Vader and the Witch are like that. They very much are. And if I do it, it's just simply because the light's with me. They're just chasing after the light. It's not that I'm actually getting with people and say, hey, leave them and come with me or anything like that. That's just, I've had experience with a little bit of that, just a touch of it. Enough for me to know that no, I would never want to try and take someone from another. If you get married to someone, if you're just dating seriously, even, I'm lose all interest. It's like, I remember there was a show once, it was on Scrubs, where the main character, the main doctor, he was accused of going blind, basically, to all women that were married. If they had a ring on their finger, if they were married, then he just couldn't see them anymore. It's like they disappeared, which was the proper thing to do. It's the proper thing. But in any case, if I'm out and about, and I can't come up with any real reasons to be out and about very much right now, I'm just trying to, be well and not eat anything, and maybe quit drinking stuff too. I don't know. Trying to figure it out, actually. That's what they were saying, is that people are tired of them, and they know that they're not, innocent the way they act and everything. And I'm like, I don't act. What I don't know is what I don't know. And if you had any idea of what all I've been put through, then you'd realize that whenever you see someone in a series say, is this now? Or is it one of my memories? That there is a severe amount of confusion that can be inflicted upon a person. And your basic ability to think correctly can be very much muddled, or if not, just really run over top of roughshod. Those that are black souls that live in the black are quite capable of a great many things that are very, very much distasteful, at the very least. But hey, some people look at others like they're just cattle. Because they've moved on from being human per se, and sort of let go of their humanity. There's a lot of, that's why I look at these people out here. A lot of them are like, these card readers and stuff, and some of them are serious about it, and I know some of them aren't. I can see in some of them, I can sense in their voice, I can feel them, that in fact what they really truly do want is love, and the basics that everyone wants: love and happiness, a nice secure home. There's nothing busting through the walls to try and eat you or your children or anything like that. In other words, I would have them abandon those things that they're dealing with and come towards the light. come away from all of that and follow Jesus. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but even if you've been a witch at times and done witchery stuff, you can turn away from that stuff. It's like it really depends on how far you go. Again, if you're following after the things of the light, if you're trying to live a Christian life, or what some would say a white life, okay, then you're going to be more and more drawn into that, and more of that will come into you, and more you will change from the animal human that you were into a higher being, full of much more love and compassion and understanding and patience, a whole lot less of the other stuff, because that's what the deal is. You just keep on asking for more of him. You live more here with me, Prince of Peace, Christ, you who are the light and the life and the way, and displace that other stuff that used to be a bunch of me. I saw testimony of that tonight. It's the truth of what it is. Of course, if you go the other direction and you keep on hating and you keep on being as mean as you possibly can, and going after people you don't have any reason to go after other than you don't like them, and working forces against them, moving energies around and stuff, yeah, that's witchcraft. Yeah, that's sorcery. Yeah, you're going further and further away from the light at that point, and you're taking on more and more of the other stuff, and eventually you'll be that, and it'll be like Kid Rock said, Jesus won't be there for you to call on anymore. And none of us want that. Not do we? I know I don't. I wouldn't know what to do if I thought that heaven had abandoned me and that I was to be forsaken. I'd be like, well, there's just absolutely no reason to be after that, because where would the light be? Where would the happiness come from? Because all good things come from up above. There's nothing better than being in his love. Guys, have a wonderful Friday evening. I hope that all the angry people out there are not so angry, and perhaps they can have a gentle evening and be more at peace. Not at my expense. I'm not praying it. I'm just hoping that they find that somehow. I heard, Darth Vader was showing me things as a child called biofeedback, which I found extremely useful. The kind of thing where you put your fingers into the little thing and it measures the skin resistance, its galvanic response, and that kind of thing. And from that, you have a tone that starts out real high, and then, because you've relaxed more and more, and it starts getting lower and lower and lower. And then it gives you a tool to focus on. But then, if they're all that black and knowing and seeing as they seem to be, capable of throwing energies around and everything, well, I guess they've got it all figured out after all. There's not really anything I could do or say to help them or make things better for them, I guess. Yep, must be time to go home. Life's been way too damn difficult, way too hard, and way too much was taken from us, way more than we would have ever wanted to give, and it doesn't seem like we've really got anything for it. Time to go home. Let's keep going up, guys.